change is to the stage separation
I'll be right
system, which will also be the most challenging part of today's test. We'll talk a little bit more about those updates a bit later in the webcast.
Now, in preparation for today's flight test, the vehicles have undergone dozens of individual tests, including a static fire on the ship, 2 super heavy static fires, and a final full wet dress rehearsal that we completed at the end of October, where we loaded the vehicles fully up with propellants and tested our new countdown sequencers. And that brings us to these beautiful shots on today's flight test day. After 7 months of hard work by the entire SpaceX team, we're ready to give launch another shot.
100%. Now, once again, just like Flight 1, excitement is in the air. The electricity is certainly starting to grow. This is a live view of our Starbase Control Center, known as Star Command. It is 6 miles from the pad.
Turn your TV volume down.
Teams gathering here, right behind us in Hawthorne, California, at our Mission Control Center. You can see the crowd gathering. It is an early morning, but you got to wake up early to get that front row seat. And we also have public gathering on the beaches at South Padre Island, as you see there.
And I can't say this enough, today is a flight test. While it's not happening in a lab or on a test stand, today is absolutely a test. And the goal is to gain invaluable data to continue rapidly improving Starship. So whatever the mission outcome today, excitement is guaranteed.
Now, if all goes well, Super Heavy will fire its 33 Raptor engines and lift off from that pad right there in Starbase. About 3 minutes into flight, we hope to see the Super Heavy booster separate from the ship in SpaceX's first ever hot stage separation.
When they had the cameraman hired, they're like, oh, you don't gotta do nothing too crazy. Oh, they got animation,
If the ship's engine's light, and if the whole thing holds together, its engines will remain lit for about 6 minutes before the coast phase.
Now, with those big ifs, if we get past
the successful stage
separation, the booster is going to perform a flip maneuver, then execute a boost back burn before it attempts a splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico.
Saying they got it for real.
Starship will coast for about an hour at altitudes ranging between 150 and 250 kilometers before it makes its own re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere and then ultimately a hard splashdown in the Pacific Ocean.
Now, again, if we get past a successful stage separation, Super Heavy will leave the ship at an altitude and trajectory just shy of orbital, meaning Starship won't have to fire its Raptor engines for a deorbit burn and will naturally come back into the atmosphere. Now, meanwhile, Super Heavy will attempt a landing burn before splashing into the Gulf. While the booster will practice a landing, we do not plan to recover any hardware from Super Heavy or the ship on this particular flight. Now, with the exception of Falcon,
Starship is more important than sleep.
than what happens to most other rockets flying today that are expended or fall into the ocean after completing their mission.
Now, even though we aren't planning recovery, the telemetry and data that we receive all the way to the end of today's mission is really what we're looking for, particularly with respect to temperatures during re-entry and how the heat shield performs. Much like our first test, we want to gather as much data as we can around the fully integrated vehicle in this flight-like environment.
Exactly. So let's talk about some objectives for today. The primary goal for Flight 1 was to clear the pad. We did that, and we got amazing data that helped us to improve the vehicle and pad that you see right there today. This time, on Flight 2, we're hoping to get all the way through stage separation, where we will try to perform this hot staging maneuver. In the bigger picture, Ascent is the most critical objective today, and everything else is learning. Like I said last time, a few times, the further we fly, the more data we can collect.
Now, we do expect that the camera views will be spotty after stage separation, and that's because we rely on ground stations that are positioned along the globe along the trajectory. But we are experimenting with Starlink on both the booster and ship on this mission, which will be communicating with our satellites in orbit to see if we can get that data.
Yeah, so if we make it past stage separation, there is a chance that we could get better live views throughout the duration of the flight test, including re-entry, where we typically have a blackout period with no communication with the vehicle whatsoever. So all that said, this is the first time that the vehicle will attempt to communicate with Starlink in orbit, so no guarantees.
We have a lack of blackout period there. Game changing.
So let's check in with John for an update on the countdown. How are we looking, John?
Thanks, Shiva. We're currently loading propellant from the ground system into both the first and second stages. And we're on schedule for launch in just over 26 minutes from now.
26 minutes.
Now, we delayed a day getting here. Yesterday on Friday, we had to replace a discrepant grid fin actuator on the first stage. We also replaced 2 other actuators as a precaution. The stages were remated, checked out, and everything was go for where we are right now this morning. Now, as I mentioned, we are in propellant loading. Both vehicles, the first and second stages, use the same 2 propellants. Our fuel is liquid methane at a temperature of just over 100 Kelvin, or about 272 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. This is a different fuel from Falcon 9, where we use the RP1 kerosene. But our oxidizer is liquid oxygen, the same as Falcon 9. Because there is no oxygen in space to support combustion,
the weather, range, and vehicle are still go.
Support combustion, we have to bring our own. We did the weather poll and the go-no-go poll at T-minus 2 hours.
Wow.
We got the goes, and we started loading both propellants on the booster at T-minus 1 hour and 36 minutes.
Fully
and at
loaded.
T-minus 1 hour and 17 minutes,
I think
we
they have
began
it for real.
propellant loading of the ship, second
I'm
stage.
freaking out.
Propellant loading of the Starship second stage
You're gonna
main
see one
tanks
hell of
will
a
complete
reaction
at
out of me.
approximately T-minus
I don't know if I'll
22
wake up
minutes,
my
just a few
mom,
minutes from
but
now. And at about the same time, we will switch over to loading the header tanks in the nose of the ship. Meanwhile, it'll be T-minus 3 minutes when super heavy prop load completes on the first stage. And at that point, all propellant will be on the rocket, fully loaded with over 10 million pounds of propellant. As we near T0, it's worth noting that the timing of the countdown will be slightly different today.
Yeah, I can't. My games are upstairs. I'm in my living room.
And lifted off about 6 seconds later. For Flight 2, we aim to reduce
Dude, you should
that
grab
time
some
by
Starship
almost 2
pizza.
seconds, shortening the period between engine start and liftoff. This will help reduce stress on the ground and the propulsion systems and improve the
You should have made a
efficiency of the
Starship
rocket.
pizza, nerd.
Yeah.
Now, right now, we're just inside T-minus 25 minutes
Pizza that he's
to
talking
lift
about.
off. The weather and winds are looking good. We haven't had any concerns there. The only issue we're working is getting the
I'm grabbing a
small
slice of
boats out of the
Starship pizza
near-range
because I'm
area
cool.
in the,
I get to have
offshore
Starship pizza.
from Boca Chica Starbase. We do have the possibility of holding at T-minus 40 seconds as we're trying to get the
If
last
this doesn't launch
out
today, I
of
will
the
have to come
safety
down
area.
there myself.
Now, if for some reason we do not make our test flight today, we have a backup launch windows. This
Well,
could be either 24 or 48 hours
it's
after
good.
today. It depends on how far we get into the countdown. But for now, everything's looking good as we've passed, coming up on the 24-minute
that's 25.
I'll hand it
That's
back to you,
25.
Kate and Shiva.
Thanks, John. Now, that countdown is continuing to progress, so let's take a look at the and get more familiar with the vehicle there on your screen. Starship is the world's most powerful launch vehicle. It's currently currently with about twice the thrust of the Saturn V rocket, and with future engine upgrades, it will be 3 times more powerful. Those future improvements will allow Starship to carry 150 to 250 metric tons to orbit.
Now, for reference, Falcon 9's heaviest payload to date is about 17 metric tons. So we're talking about an order of magnitude more with Starship in terms of payload capability. And that matters because the amount of mass that we're able to launch per rocket is crucial to ultimately creating a self-sustaining city on Mars. Now, let's talk a little bit about how tall the vehicle is. The Super Heavy booster alone stands about 70 meters tall, and that's about the same height as a fully integrated Falcon 9. The height of Starship on top of it is comparable to that of the Statue of Liberty.
That's not the
But
most
of
American
course, the
thing
most
I've
technical
seen.
length unit is that of
What is
Godzilla's.
this?
And we can
What?
confidently say that the fully stacked Starship
Somebody
and Super
fire that
Heavy
part of the
is at
editing
least
team.
one Mechagodzilla tall. It just so happens that we refer to the launch and catch tower at Starbase as the Mechazilla from the Godzilla movie, and you could see from that that the resemblance is quite uncanny.
Very, very uncanny. Now, the first stage, also known as the booster or Super Heavy, has a diameter roughly 2.5 times that of Falcon 9, and with 33 much larger engines. More engines means more power to deliver a massive amount of cargo to space.
That camera's final
Amazing
22
view
minutes.
here. This is a view that we don't have on our Falcon 9 missions. This is a view looking up under the Super Heavy booster. I love the shot. We can see all 33 engines there. Now, one cool upgrade on the booster's engines, we have a new electronic thrust vector control system, or ETVCs. We previously used the hydraulic system to control the positioning of the Raptor engines, meaning we tilted them in flight using pressurized fluid. Now, hydraulics are complex, and because they're fluid-based, they have the potential to leak. Not good. So, switching to an electronic system means fewer potential points of failure. Also, we now carry less mass on the vehicle because we don't need to carry hydraulic fluids anymore. So, good news all around. Now, the electric system has lots of benefits on its own. It only takes 30 minutes to activate for flight. It doesn't consume resources when inactive, and they allow for regenerative charging like a Tesla battery.
Yeah, all great things when you're trying to rapidly reuse a vehicle. Now, moving up, Starship is designed for vertical takeoff and landing on any hard surface. That's opposed to taking off and landing
Whoever painted these
like
shots,
aircraft.
thank you.
And that's important because there are no runways on the moon and Mars.
For
the ship features 6 Raptor engines, 3 of which are sea level, and 3 of which are vacuum engines with an expanded nozzle, which makes them optimized to operate in the vacuum of space.
So that doesn't happen again.
At the top of the the ship is featured with 4 flaps as well. This is a shot actually of the top of the booster where we can see the hot stage portion and the 4 grid fins. Now, those flaps on the ship portion help aerodynamically control the vehicle's attitude during atmospheric reentry and flight. And
That's such a great shot. All these shots are so good.
The body of Starship is also wrapped in a heat shield that's made up of 18,000 hexagonal ceramic tiles.
No way! We
you can
never
see them
got this
wrapping
view
around
on
the
the
top of
first
the nose
flight, like
here
not
and
on
here in this
stream.
shot of the flaps. Now, those tiles are designed to insulate the vehicle
Let 'em
during
cook.
atmospheric entry, where the temperatures can get as
20
high as
minutes away from
1,500
liftoff
degrees
on
Celsius.
IFT2.
And one of our test objectives today is to verify how those systems perform during reentry.
Yeah, now as Shiva mentioned, there between the ship and the booster, basically the top of the booster, between those
They
two
can lift
stages,
off
that's
first
our
try.
new
This would be
hot
so
stage,
good.
critical
I
for
think
our
they
new
can.
separation technique. As we talked about earlier, we are constantly learning and upgrading the vehicle after we test.
hope they don't
Now,
hold.
this is a pretty exciting first for our team, as hot
They're
staging
probably
has
going to
never
hold,
before been used
but I think
as
they'll be
part of
fine.
a reusable space transportation system, let alone on a rocket with the size and power of Starship. Hot staging is a significant change from Flight 1, and we're really hoping to gather data on it during this highly dynamic phase of flight, and that is, once again, assuming that we even make it that far.
Of course, let's take a closer look at what we expect hot staging to look like. Now, it
Oh,
occurs at
I think
about
this animation's
liftoff
new.
plus
It
2.5
is.
minutes. At that point, the booster will shut down most of its 33 engines, leaving just 3 running.
SpaceX made
Now,
What?
the ship will ignite all 6 of its
animation.
engines. Clamps will release,
Oh,
and the
that's
ship
part of the
will
bigger
thrust away
animation.
from the booster.
SpaceX
Now,
just
this
made
is
a
the
hot
first
staging
in-flight
animation,
test
and they're
of the
just
heat
now
shield on the
releasing
top
it.
of the booster
What?
and the bottom of the ship, and of course the first in-flight test of hot staging, and we're hoping to gather a ton of data on it today.
Yeah. Now, stage
What
separation
do you think about
by hot
this?
staging is somewhat
How is
uncommon
this
in
day to you?
spaceflight, but it
How will it
has
be
been
memorable?
done before. However, today will mark the first time
Say
that
what?
a reusable space transportation system is attempting it. The Titan program did hot staging quite successfully in the early 1960s, but they were not concerned with reuse, so there was no issue when the Titan first stage took considerable damage upon ignition of the second stage engine. Now today, there is a good chance that our booster will also incur some damage from the second stage engines, but
Oh,
we
yeah,
need to test
yeah,
it out,
the hot
see
stage
if the
ring is
system
going
can
to take
tolerate
damage
it,
for
and
sure.
collect data to learn how to do hot staging better next time, because ultimately, when successful, it could increase Starship's payload to orbit capacity by 10%. So more payload and more people to Mars. Hot staging also helps us maximize the vehicle's performance by leaving those 3 first stage engines on, so gravity can't rob us of precious velocity, or at least not as much of it. Hot staging also helps to ensure the ship's liquid propellants are at the bottom of the prop tanks, which is where we need that propellant to be in order to quickly light the ship's engines. Another reason to do hot staging, it reduces the risk at stage separation by moving to a passive stage system,
Starship.
deleting parts and simplifying, meaning
It's like the
physics
longest,
is going
like,
to be doing
15
most of the work instead of mechanical parts that would otherwise be pushing the 2 stages away from each other.
That's a great summary, Kate. And of course, this required design changes from Flight 1. The most notable of which is the interstage here. So on Flight 1, that interstage was completely enclosed. But for hot staging, the interstage portion between the booster and the ship is going to see dramatic increases in pressure and temperature. So we had to change the structure to include vents for the exhaust gases that the ship's Raptor engines will produce. Now, the 3 center engines on the ship actually gimbal, they rotate, and we're going to be gimbaling them outwards to reduce the forces that are being directly imparted on the booster and maximize the exhaust gas that's going through those vents. We've also beefed up the ship's base heat shield to withstand the higher temperatures. And for today's test, like really getting through hot staging would be a major milestone. There are some risks associated with this test, but of course the ship and booster are going to be pretty far out over the ocean in the safety zone and far away from people.
Yeah, regardless of what happens, it's going to be super exciting to watch. Now, in addition to the first and second stages of the vehicle, Starship has a third stage that we call Stage 0. This consists of the launch mount, the tower,
I just don't see hot stage being reliably reusable.
As well as the
I think it can work, but it's like it's gonna have to erode some way, right?
It's the Guinness Book of World Records holder for the largest launch tower in the world. What a beautiful drone shot that we have here. Also important part of the system, but less visible right now, especially because of the fog, is our new water-cooled
Whereas when my gut starts turning.
and that's certainly a new upgrade for this flight.
Yeah, on Flight 1, the Starship's launch pad was damaged pretty significantly during liftoff as the super heavy Raptor engines fired their full thrust into the foundation for more than 12 seconds. So now we have a new high-pressure, water-cooled steel
I'm gonna take a sip out of
that we developed and installed between the flights, and there you can see the video of it dispensing 260,000
Oh, you can see the vent on the right of you.
And that's designed to dissipate those loads from the Raptor engines and support rapid turnaround of the launch pad with minimal refurbishment between flights. Part of a rapidly reusable launch system also means the pad infrastructure.
Yeah.
We performed multiple standalone tests and have used this new system for both the Flight 2 booster static fire tests.
Come on,
We've also reinforced
please
the pad
lift
pretty
off
significantly from Flight 1.
Yes. Now, also part of Stage 0, we mentioned before, the launch mount. Kind of hard to see there, but it's what the booster is connected to. Oh, here we can see basically the
camera got 15 minutes left before.
This is what holds Starship and all of its mass. It holds Starship during ignition, right there at the Super Heavy booster. This is what houses all of the equipment needed to fuel the Super Heavy booster and condition it for flight, as well as all of those electrical, communication, and data connections between the ground and Starship. Bottom line is it's an important part of how we talk to Starship on the ground and understand that it's really ready to fly.
And of course, the awesome camera shot there of those 33 Raptor engines.
Such a great view. We don't have that view for Falcon 9, so I love that we get it here. Now, as we mentioned earlier, the real game changer with Starship is not only mass-to-orbit capabilities, but that it's designed to be used over and over and over again with little to no downtime in between. Full and rapid reusability is the key to making routine space travel a reality, and SpaceX has been working on this since its inception.
Yeah, with SpaceX's family of Falcon launch vehicles, which are the first and only orbital class rockets capable of reflight, we started that, and Starship is going to take this even further with a reusable first and second stage. Now, while most rockets are expended after their portion of the mission, SpaceX rockets land back on Earth and are quickly returned to our hangars to prepare to refly again.
Exactly. In fact, 90% of all Falcon 9 boosters that have flown this year have been reused, or as we like to say, flight proven. So while launching and landing rockets may seem routine today, this was not always the case. For those of you that have been following along since our early days, you know that it took us 4 attempts before we successfully launched our first rocket to orbit. Here you see our Falcon 1 Flight 4. 15 years ago in September, that vehicle became the first privately developed liquid-fueled launch vehicle to orbit Earth. If Falcon 1 Flight 4 had not succeeded, it would have meant the end of SpaceX.
And our first successful landings didn't come easily. We had to miss the target a few times before we ultimately stuck the landing. But each of these landing attempts, how to not land an orbital rocket, were teaching us what we needed to know in a flight-like environment to get that full picture of how all the systems interacted together.
Oh man, yeah, this is me trying to not get goosebumps watching this first drone ship
We're
landing.
in the end
I hosted
game now.
that webcast, and it was so exciting
On
to
my
see
stream, I
that
sounded like
iterative
critical
development
on
approach that
drugs.
we took finally paid off after so many attempts of failing. Now that failure is expected to help improve future designs of our vehicles and systems. So fast forward to present day, we've landed F9 boosters over 245 times since our first reflight of an Orbital class booster 6 years ago.
Yeah, it really comes down to our design philosophy. If you're not failing in some way, then there's room to learn and push the design to improve. And failure doesn't just mean blowing up a rocket. It might mean not being as efficient as we want to be or producing slower than we want to. So that approach has been the basis of how we've made all of our major innovative advancements.
Dude.
My heart might explode.
All right, now Falcon 9 has certainly come a long way, and Starship will too, but as a reminder, today is a test. We really
I don't even
hope
care
to
how
get
separation
to
goes.
stage
If we make it to
but
separation,
any data
like, it
received
just
will help
happens,
us
that's gonna be
improve. It's the
great.
second of many
These
future
shots
flight
are
tests of Starship
insane.
before it becomes fully operational.
And these flight tests teach us about the limits of our design. They help us improve our understanding of the vehicle, and ultimately will help us to make Starship more reliable and rapidly reusable. So again, whatever the outcome and however far we get today, we can promise excitement. So why are we doing all of this? Why do we need a rocket this big, and why does it need to be reusable so quickly? And that answer goes back to SpaceX's mission, which is to make life multiplanetary.
We aren't just building a new spacecraft, we're changing what it means to go to space. By building the most powerful rocket ever flown and a ship designed to carry people, cargo, habitats, satellites, and more, we're unlocking a future where our dreams of exploration will no longer exceed our grasp. And this mission continues with flights like today's integrated test.
And these are flights where we're going to fail fast, but learn even faster, where each time we're going to try something new while flying something that we've improved. And ultimately, that's going to build up a fleet to fly early and often as Starship rapidly evolves to become more capable and more reliable.
Dude, I am
The first
freaking
stop
out right
is
now.
our nearest neighbor, with a
Yeah,
surface
moon
that
animations.
hasn't seen visitors in more than 50
Lunar
years.
missions,
Under
HLS.
Artemis with NASA, Starship will return people back to the moon.
They showed an
After those
HLS
first
render.
expeditions, we'll be ready to
That's
fly
not
more
decent.
people, along with everything that it takes to
here's the
build a moon
HLS
base.
render, the
Think
old
about
one.
that. Hardware that will enable us to live on another
Yeah, we
world,
just got the
sitting
new
on a
one.
launch pad
Well-
on Earth right now.
And the moon is just the proving ground. When the time comes to make that leap to Mars, everything gets ratcheted up by orders of magnitude.
The logistics of supporting an entire city on Mars are daunting, requiring
Well, I think it takes like 2.5 minutes before separation. That's gonna be the longest 2.5 minutes.
We just broke our own record for the number of launches in a single year, and we're going to break it again next year.
Now, in the years to come, Starship is going to dwarf those figures as we bring it online and truly make
all right,
life
Dad?
multiplanetary.
Yeah.
But for
I
now,
just-
anyway, as the clock counts
I
down to
might not
today's
be
flight
okay
test,
if
why don't we
Starship
get
doesn't
another
lift
status
off today,
update from
but yeah, I'm
John?
okay for right now.
We're just over 9 minutes from liftoff. As the countdown clock clicks to 0. The team's good news
No
is we
significant
aren't working
issues.
any significant issues on the
I
launch
think
vehicle
we
right now.
got it today.
Propellant
Yeah.
is continuing on both the Super Heavy and the ship stages.
Wow.
Most recently, we began loading LOX
Oh,
methane
jeez.
fuel into the header tanks
Hey,
on the
man.
Starship.
When will the
On the graphic on the left side of the
WB-57
screen, you can see up in the nose of the second stage, what we call Starship, are those 2 header tanks for fuel and oxygen.
WB-57
Now that loading started at T-minus 24 minutes
Bro.
and will continue until approximately T-minus 5.5 minutes. Now Starship's second stage main fuel and LOX tanks
Oh,
are
yeah, there's
loaded
probably a
for
couple
flight.
birds. Nah,
The second
all the
stage
birds
propellant
resting
we're
down
loading
here are
on
probably
board is
frozen.
going through the quick disconnect
All the
that
vapor,
comes out on the
you
arm
know,
that's located at the
Yeah.
base
little
of the
bird
stage from the
icicles.
tower. On the Super Heavy booster, propellant loading will continue until T-minus 3 minutes.
The weather.
You know, I see all the
also
gases
used
that are
range is
venting on the
still
bottom.
low.
a little earlier in the
This
count.
is further.
The
This
hold
is
downs,
further
the
than the
booster
first
hold downs
attempt
were
we made
commanded
it.
to unlatch. That means once the
made
rocket
it
has
further than the
sufficient
first
thrust to
Starship
overcome
attempt.
its weight, it'll lift off the pad. There's no need to command the hold downs to release the rocket.
It's just
As we mentioned earlier also, the ignition sequence has been slightly modified from the last flight for more efficient liftoff. As a reminder, we ignite the engines a few seconds before T0 We don't lift off exactly at T0. We lift off a few seconds later, a couple seconds.
Yeah, and that's going to be a long
The
2
SpaceX
seconds.
team continues to check in with the Coast Guard to ensure there are no boats in the safety perimeter
vent shot's
before
pretty good.
proceeding
Oh,
with launch
wow.
out over the Gulf of Mexico.
That is just beautiful.
Now, currently, we're coming up T-minus 7
Ship
minutes, 10
25,
seconds.
Booster 9, come on, you
The
guys
test
got
flight
this.
of Starship. Helmet loading is continuing on both stages of Starship. We're waiting now for the completion of loading of the header
Flipping
tanks
right
in
now.
the
I
next few
can't
minutes.
scream, though.
The first stage is also
we're 7
beginning
minutes away.
pressurization
Less
for
than
flight
7
while we are
The
continuing
fact
to
that you're
load
getting this
propellant
launch
into
at sunrise is so
Again,
iconic.
booster propellant load will finish.
This is gonna be in a
The
movie.
shot's
One
gonna be so beautiful.
That stage, both first and second stages are fully loaded, and we'll have the 10 million pounds
You
of
can
liquid
just see the
propellant
sun
on board the
popping
2
up.
stages of Starship.
Oh, the liftoff shot's
On the
gonna
next
be
few
so
minutes, the
beautiful.
guidance system will
Oh
perform
my
its final
God.
alignment. We'll get the automated
So you get
flight
like
termination
like
system
the shot we
that'll
just
arm,
saw,
and the
but
final
tracking up.
TVC checkout
That's
will
gonna be
be
really good.
performed.
Keep this cam at
We may get a
ignition,
view looking up at the
SpaceX,
engines
please.
as we gimbal the 13 middle engines.
Camera has
Check them
6
out
minutes
just
left on
before
this
liftoff
planet.
at about T-minus 90 seconds.
Yeah.
If we need to hold, it would come at T-minus 40 seconds. That's the point in the
I mean,
countdown where we
technically the
can
camera will
pause to
still
wait
be
for
on the
final
planet. It'll just
checkout
be,
or
like,
pressurization
incinerated.
to complete. Or as we're
It
hearing
can
right
be
now,
atomized.
we're still working a few
We're
bugs
6
in the
minutes
area
away.
that are headed south.
We've passed the 6-minute line. Come on.
102,000 meters.
The boats are heading south, but we are still planning to
I'm gonna wake
hold
my
at
friend up.
T-minus 40 seconds if necessary.
Oh, I'm shaking.
Just
Yeah, you got
amazing
the pre-launch
views of
shakes.
today's launch. There's nothing quite right like a launch at basically sunrise. Sunrise, I think, was just about 10 or 15 minutes ago out at Starbase.
I'm live on YouTube.
Yeah,
right
these
now.
views are just incredible. Couldn't
gonna
ask for a more
flip if
beautiful
this
day
thing
to
lights.
attempt a test flight here. Again, these are live views of Starship as it awaits its second integrated
Bro,
flight
come on,
test.
it's past the 5-minute mark.
Our primary objective today is to get through stage separation. We really
Pass
want to
the 5-minute
test
mark
out
soon.
our
6.
attempt to perform hot staging, where
Yeah, it's
we
just in
are
the middle
going
of
to
nowhere.
ignite
So we're
the engines
below
on
5
the
minutes.
second stage,
Clamps are
Past 5 minutes.
released.
while some of the
Holy
some of the engines on the first
you
stage
just had to
are
get
still
past the
lit.
40-second
So essentially,
hold.
both stages
Yep,
will be
I'm
making fire
freaking-
at the same
I'm
time,
flipping out
and
right
that
now.
will push the booster away from the ship. It'll separate the two stages.
Onboard
So that's the
views.
primary goal for today. We really hope
that
to
shot
be able to
is
test that
insane.
out. But at the end of the day, all and any data that we
Probably
can
trying
collect
to
is
use
going to be
screenshots instead of my
incredibly helpful
wallpaper.
and help inform future improvements and iterations of the vehicle.
Yeah, Kate. There are other objectives for today too, assuming we get farther than stage separation. There's goals to test out how re-entry
we're
goes
at 4
on the ship
minutes.
portion.
420.
If the booster survives stage
420 away from
separation, then it's going to try a boost back burn and hopefully a soft landing as a sort of dress rehearsal for what it would look like on land. So everything coming up to that big design change, though, of hot staging today.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
can't be
Like you
loud
were
'cause my
saying,
mom's
that
asleep.
booster,
But I'm still
it will
gonna
be
have one hell of a
attempting
reaction.
a water landing in the Gulf of Mexico. We don't intend to recover any of the hardware for either the ship or the booster today. But that booster, yeah, we want to try and
You're below
My sister just
4
woke
minutes.
up.
ascent through most engine cutoff. We want to try to demonstrate that hot staging separation and
She
boost back
blatantly
flip,
said no.
trying
That's
to
crazy.
basically demonstrate controlled burn and entry and that soft water landing. Like you said, it will help inform when we attempt a land landing, but we start in the water first,
Exactly.
just like we did with the Falcon 9.
Yeah, exactly. And, just getting to hot staging, though, is going to be farther than we got on Flight 1.
Yes.
Flight 1, that was about as far as we got. We didn't have hot staging on that vehicle. So that's the first and
Says
foremost
the structure on
objective
hot
today.
staging won't
Get that
complain,
far
but I hope it
away.
doesn't take the ship out.
Fingers crossed.
Now, one thing that's a little cool about Starship, and it's different from Falcon 9, is we can actually hold a little bit longer if we needed to
Bro,
than
this
we can on
shot.
Falcon 9 missions.
3 minutes.
Once we get to T-minus 40 seconds, and if we did have a hold, depending on the reason for the hold, we can hold for up to 30 minutes.
Thank you for being the only person to stay with
today,
me here,
actually, our
Starman.
entire launch window is about 20
Yeah,
minutes.
I thought it'd be more of a
duration
party,
would
but I
cover,
guess not.
most of our
Yeah.
launch window.
Yeah.
And that's different from Falcon.
Yeah,
It's cool. We got my
absolutely.
dad
With
watching it
Falcon,
too.
we have to go exactly at T0. That 40-second hold is super helpful. If we need to, for example, you know, we need more time to pressurize the COPVs for flight levels. You know, perhaps
If the
fuel.
engineers just need to look at some of the data, see how engines are performing on the avionics.
Exactly, those checkouts. You know, being able to
it's like every second passing feels like
top
3.
off the fuel or LOX if it's not fully loaded. And,
2 minutes.
You know, we might want
2
to just
minutes.
take a
We're
few
at
more
2
minutes
minutes.
for that. So that T-minus 40-second
my
hold
stream's a little
is
delayed.
really helpful. But you know, we don't have that option
since
on
yours
Falcon,
delayed,
so
if it does lift
a
off,
little
I'm not
bit
going to say
different here.
anything.
Dude, I'm gonna flip if this thing
We're
lifts.
just inside
engine cam
T-minus 2
again.
minutes and counting. The good news right now we're hearing it doesn't look like we're going to need to hold a T-minus
It's
40
just, we're
seconds.
not,
Whoa,
we might not
and
need to
those
are
look, we
clearing
might
out
not
of
need
the
to
way.
hold. Oh my god.
Next event coming up, TBC Wiggles, as we move the
No
center
way.
engines on the
We
first
might not
day.
need to
They
hold.
might not need to hold. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Rest in peace, any little
1 minute,
bugger
30
might
seconds.
sitting underneath
Raptor
that.
gimbal! Engine booster,
90
engine
seconds.
gimbal!
Wiggles are underway as we're checking
Holy
out the first
fuck.
stage.
1 minute, 20 seconds. Come on, SpaceX.
TBC checks are
40 more
complete.
seconds.
Next major event we're going to hear, hopefully, is the flight director go for launch.
Come on,
T-minus
go
30
for launch.
seconds.
Come on, come on, come on.
We have 1 minute. We have. Oh no.
As we're coming
Oh, no.
up on T-minus 1 minute,
We have
when we
less
get
than a
to
minute.
T-minus 40 seconds, we'll just listen in.
Toby.
Last time, as you recall, we did hold at 40 seconds. It took a few
SpaceX.
seconds for the clock to recover, so we're going to watch that. And as we press to T0, we're going to watch and listen to
Come
the
on.
second test flight of Starship.
5 more seconds.
Oh yeah. Okay, they're doing a hold.
Damn.
Oh, but there's cheering. I think the hold doesn't matter.
Oh my god.
Yep. Hold's lifted. Hold is lifted.
Hold is lifted! Hold is lifted! Oh my god. Oh my god. 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
T-minus 30 seconds.
30.
Oh wait, they put it back on
Oh,
hold.
we're
They put
back
it
to
back on
41?
hold.
Back to rapid recycle.
No?
That's fine. They did that on the first flight. They did it in the first flight.
Okay, come on.
They counted down by accident and went back to. Oh, this happened last time. This is fine.
Come on.
Come on, have the numbers be
Come
right.
on, SpaceX.
Jackson, this is gonna sound stupid, and you're probably gonna think, no, you dumb fuck. Is there any people inside that?
No! Bro, my special
Back at
friend
Hawthorne,
just
we're at
asked.
T-minus 40 seconds in
My
holding.
special friend
We've
just
had a
asked if
rapid
there's people
recycle.
inside.
We've not heard anything over the countdown net as the team works both first and second stages. We're going to
I
monitor
assumed
the
there
nets here
was,
for a
but I was
minute.
still asking.
Yeah, just be quiet, buddy.
Alright, whatever.
Come on, I am anticipating for this hold to lift.
Got a little bit of an update. Continuing to hold. Got a little bit of an update. We're continuing to hold at T-minus 40 seconds. This is the normal hold
Sounds
point
like we're
for
working
Starship, as
just
we talked
late
earlier.
pressurization
Sounds
on
like we're
I believe,
working
the second
just
stage.
Come on.
That happened last time.
On
That's fine.
the second stage.
Yeah, but this window's a lot
Team
shorter.
is working it. All
We
the
can
other
hold.
systems
Well, it
are
only
on
took them
hold
a couple
right now,
minutes. They just had to
40
burp it a little bit.
We can hold here for
Oh,
about
no.
15
Shush.
minutes or so
Shush. Oh my god, come
before we
on,
would
please,
run out
SpaceX,
of window
hurry
for
up.
this morning.
This is gonna be the longest few seconds of my life waiting for this hold to
So right
release.
now they're working on filling pressure
Ideally, we'll be able
vessels.
to solve this, come back and release the
And
clock.
ideally, we'll be able to solve this and come back and release the clock at T-minus 40 seconds.
Wait, what issue are
We're
they
going to
having?
continue to listen and monitor for another few minutes.
It's just a pressurization issue in stage 2, but they had a pressurization issue on the last flight attempt. They got it worked out. They just had to do a little bit of purging.
Come on, SpaceX.
But this happens like every test they do.
Yeah, there's like 157
mentioning here
people.
And it's worth mentioning here that don't go away. We are holding at T-minus 40 seconds, but once the teams have resolved and see the data that they want to see, the clock can restart straight away, and they don't start ticking down from T-minus 40 again
Come on,
until
please
it's
shot like
liftoff.
this.
Yeah,
Come on,
exactly.
SpaceX.
Now, while we do have the ability to hold for up to 30 minutes, we only have a 20-minute launch window, so don't go away. Don't change the channel.
Oh, it's going down.
And just
It's
like
going
Shiva
down.
said, we can restart that
what's going
clock,
down?
and there it is.
Oh my god, hold release! Hold release, hold release.
Clock is rolling. T-minus 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Most powerful is about to lift off. Lily's made the prediction every test they've done of how many engines are out. She's right. She's at 2 are going at me.
15 seconds. Past the 15-second mark. 13, 12, 11, 10,
Under the live thing that's blocking my engine.
8, 7,
Ignite.
6,
Okay, water deluge is on.
4, 3,
oh, water deluge.
2, 1.
Ignition. Ignition.
Lift off.
Lift off. Lift off. Oh my god, we have lift off. We have lift off.
Look at the shockwave. Look at the shockwave. Oh my god. It is shaking the drone.
Dude, we have liftoff. We have liftoff.
Look at the mock diamond.
We have liftoff.
Oh.
Liftoff on IFT2.
How many engines are out? I can't see it. The live is blocking it.
Oh my god. We have liftoff. This is insane. Don't worry about my hair. Don't worry about my hair. Oh my god.
They have all
This
the
thing can
engines.
lift it
30
off.
seconds into the
I'm
flight.
flipping out.
33
Oh
They
my
have all
god.
33 going.
First stage.
There's no engines out.
We've heard
None.
telemetry,
Not a single Raptor.
How did they do that?
What? Not a single
single
Raptor is
out.
out or underperforming.
They're making a separation.
Oh my god. I'm shaking.
Max Q.
Dude, Max Q. Oh, Raptors, Max Q. Oh, it's already performing better than I expected.
Starship is through the period of greatest stress
Oh my
on the
god.
way to space.
Not a single.
Definitely looks like we have a few tiles off
Now
of
the
ship
next
25,
major
but who
event
cares? It's
is
not going
hot
to survive
staging
re-entry
in just
anyways.
over 90 seconds from
Yeah, they were
now.
coming off before it even
To
listed
get
off.
ready, the booster will shut down all but 3 of the Raptor engines. Flames holding the 2
Oh
stages
my
together
god.
will
Oh my.
It's
release.
still holding
and the Starship's
33.
second
What were
stage
they
will ignite its
cooking?
engines. Starship will then separate from the super heavy booster and head to space.
Get on camera.
And at the same time, the 3
The
of
hot
us
stage ring
still
got through
firing
Max
on
Q.
super heavy will flip the booster.
Well, I'm
around.
live on the mic.
10 more
Come
engines will
on.
ignite
Separation's
the
coming up in like
burn,
30 seconds.
putting the first stage on path
Oh
for a
my
splashdown in the Gulf of
Flipping
Mexico.
out.
Come on.
Bro, SpaceX.
Yes. This is a great shot. This is a
Shush. No, shut up, Olivia. Bro, this shot is insane. Dude, look at this shot.
all 33 are still lit.
Still, all 33 are running. Bro, T plus 2 minutes into flight.
Dude,
And
thing
all
is making
33
it
are
flash.
still running.
Continues to look nominal on 33 Raptor engines.
Shut up, my friend just
We're
said
about to shut down the first stage and perform staging.
I know it
Let's
does,
watch
but I'm
and listen.
freaking out. Oh my god.
separation's about to happen.
Oh my god, okay, come on. Come on, second stage ignition.
Shut off the engines.
Come on, come on, SpaceX.
And acquisition of signal.
Light the
Houston,
engines.
new release.
Light this
Yeah, engines
fucking
cut off.
candle. Come on.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Booster engine cut off.
separate.
Miko! Most engines cut off. Miko.
It's separate.
Most... Second stage ignition!
Stage
It's
separation.
separated! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Okay, I know
Pushback is
supposed to do a
failing.
whole split, but
Boost back is failing, but still we have second stage ignition. Wait, no, boost back is still good. They get it stable. Booster 9 is boosting back. They're losing engines. Boost back is failing. Boost back shut down.
Heavy
where's the
booster.
ship? Where is the
Oh
ship?
my god, the booster just
As you
exploded.
can see, the super heavy
No
booster
way.
has
The
just
booster's gone.
experienced
Oh
a
my god,
rapid
ship 25.
unscheduled
The
disassembly.
booster just
However,
exploded.
our ship is still underway with
Actually, it's
all
nominal
6.
for the ship.
Telemetry nominal.
Everything's
And we just heard
nominal
there,
for the
ship avionics, powered
ship?
telemetry nominal.
Oh my
All 6
God.
engines are lit, as you can see from
Please
the
give
GUI
us-
there,
give us
the
an onboard
bottom
shot,
right-hand
please.
side of your
Please.
screen.
No way. Everything's still nominal.
Now, we did know that that hot staging was going to be incredibly dynamic.
Gosh.
We knew that there was a chance that the booster would not survive, but we're going to take that data
I
and
think they
figure out
blew
how
the
we can
FTS.
make the booster better for the next hot stage.
That's
Yeah,
still
it looked like it
good.
came
That's
from the
still
center.
ship running.
The SBS,
on
the
the top
FPS.
of the booster, and of course,
Yeah, like it started losing control for a
stuff
second.
happening.
Oh, come on. This is going to
But
be
ship
the
is
longest
still
like 2
going
minutes of
strong.
my life with this
And it's
burn.
doing great.
Come on,
Right now,
Starship.
the ship, the second
Orbit.
stage, is on its way. Like I said, you can see all
It's
6
gone
of
for like
its
60
engines
minutes, I
are
think.
ignited.
Oh my
The next major milestone for the ship
happened and it
will
worked,
be
sort
the
They got it
shutdown
first try.
of those engines, or
The
SECO.
booster didn't lose a
this
single
engine
engine
cut
on
off.
Ascent,
Which, if you follow our Falcon 9
which
launches,
is
familiar
insane.
terminology there.
I just
So
I
far,
can't fathom
today
that.
has been
It's
incredibly
unbelievable.
successful, even with the run of the Super Heavy booster.
Primary
This
objective
is
of the booster today
amazing.
to get to hot
flipping
staging.
out.
Primary objective of the booster today to get to hot staging, to get
It's going
ship on its
further.
way to orbit. It did that admirably.
No way.
Yeah, we
Starship's
definitely
still
asked-
I can
nominal.
still see the ship engines.
All right,
All
great
6
news
are
there.
lit.
That trajectory for ship is not
Firing
firing
those
those engines. Once again, Starship's
can't
second
believe
stage.
it.
Firing those engines.
Now for the
And
ship,
as you just heard,
I can't
everything's
believe
looking
the
good.
booster
Now,
exploded,
for the
though. That
ship,
was
we
crazy.
wanted it to survive hot staging, which,
it did.
as
That
you
made me
can
feel
see there
sick
by
watching
that
the
little
booster
dot
blow
on your
up.
screen,
At least
it
the
did.
ship cleared before the
We
booster
also
went
want
kablooey.
to basically demonstrate
So, you know, that's a
successful
success.
startup
It had all
of
33
that,
run.
of those engines, demonstrating controlled ascent, which is what it's doing right now,
That's-
and eventually orbital
That's great.
insertion. We are hoping to basically send this around the Earth, and if
Okay,
it makes it
Starship
this
engines
far,
cut off at
splash
8
down
minutes
in
and
the
33
Pacific
seconds.
Ocean,
8 minutes and 33 seconds.
a couple
Okay,
hundred
come on,
miles
just get
north
to that
of Hawaii.
before any engines fail. Come on, SpaceX.
3.5
if
more
we get
minutes.
that far, like all of that sounds
We have
great.
all 6
Secondary
engines still
objectives for
running.
ship, again,
Come on,
continuing
Raptor
to
V2.
gather engine data and about its health, performance.
Nominal ship chamber pressures.
Nominal
Great news
chamber
there.
pressure.
That tells us that the chamber
Again, that's
pressures
that small dot on your
inside
screen.
of the
basically
Starship,
the
again,
all
that's that
aboard
small
channel.
dot on your screen.
Come on,
Basically,
onboard
the propellant
cams, please.
pressures in the ship
I think they're
are
going to do it
looking
on
good.
board
Make
when
it
it's
anywhere
in
near this
orbit.
far.
Yeah, the bottom
This is
right
2
corner
minutes
of your
and 20
screen, you can
seconds further
see
than we made it in the first
essentially
flight.
a user interface showing us which engines are lit. So the 3 center sea-level Raptor engines.
I don't know how to tell my friend that all 33 works.
The 3
I don't
outer
know
engines
either.
Oh,
in the
yep, they
triangle,
just
the
erased-
larger ones
they just
are
erased
Raptor
the
vacuum
part.
engines.
Not a single
All of them
failed on
continuing
Ascent.
to fire
Definitely a
nominally,
few
so that
failed to
at the
relight,
pressures
and
that
then
we
it went
expect
kablooey.
to try to
But
get
I think the hot staging was
into our target
successful. I think
trajectory
no
today.
doubt IFT3 will have a
And
splashdown.
we're not targeting
That's
orbit
it got
today.
away and it
We're
did do its
targeting
boost back
almost
flip.
orbit
It looked like
today.
the engines
That's
just
very
failed on it.
intentional as part of the
The
mission
boost
design.
back definitely
the goal
partially
is
failed
to
because
get
only like half the
to
engines
a
relit.
thrust profile similar to what we would need for orbit, but also
It's
to
still
get to
insane.
the energy
It
levels
cleared
that the ship would need to
successfully.
dissipate for re-entry. And so we're
Oh.
actually going
I think
in
that's
a
it.
suborbital trajectory
God.
today.
We have
But that
We have
trajectory will
jellyfish.
get us to the energy
We have a
levels that
jellyfish
we
effect
need at re-entry,
from the ship.
where we can really stress
ship
that
is
in the
giving a
field and get
jellyfish
valuable
effect.
data on re-entry.
here.
And those calls that
One
we are
more
still on a
minute.
nominal
It's gotta
trajectory
make a-
here,
gotta-
and
One
seeing
more
nominal
minute.
pressures means that we have a really good
I
shot
think the
of
ship
hitting
might
that
actually
target
make
orbit.
it.
Yeah. We would
Dude,
be,
I never
if the
expected this.
booster had survived, we
getting
would
ready
be
to land, performing
around the
its,
time where it would
re-entry,
be
but
getting
it
ready to
unfortunately did
land,
not survive.
performing its re-entry,
Two.
but it
That
unfortunately
being
did not
said,
survive.
That's okay. It survived.
Oh, you can see jellyfish
That
effects
being
from the
said,
venting.
That's okay. It survived
Venting.
several
No
seconds
way,
after,
it's so beautiful.
from hot staging, so we're going to take
And
that data and
hopefully
improve the hot
hardware
staging sequence and
for the next
probably
flight.
improve
We
the
got
hardware
33 more
itself,
seconds.
We're starting to
for
stop
the next
seeing
flight.
it. We're at T+8 minutes.
Oh,
All
engines cut off.
still. Me! Shut down! Shut down! They did it!
It's a little early though. It's 8:33.
I don't even see
I
it
thi-
no more.
Shut up, Olivia. Shush. They
We
still
need
made
the
it.
onboard shot.
They made it.
I think. They had shutdown. Come on, onboard cams. Please, SpaceX. You got this.
It's just going up for
Shush, Olivia.
They're standing by for call here,
They're
Come on,
standing by
confirmation.
for
and
call
that
out
ship
here.
would shut
They're
down
starting
its
to
engine.
cheer.
Coming up on
That's
the
a good
projected
sign.
time that ship would shut down its engines.
Yeah, I think it made it.
They made it! They made it! They made it! They made orbit! Ship 25 made orbit!
As you can
Oh
tell
my
by
God.
the excitement from the crowd here at
Who is
the
this
Control
guy?
Center in Hawthorne.
Ship 25
There's
made
a
Must be
great
Elon's brother.
command center. That's our
Come
control
on,
center
onboard
at
cams,
Starbase,
please,
Texas.
SpaceX.
The crowd here, Mission Control Center behind us in Hawthorne. Everyone is super exciting. What a successful day this has been
God,
so
the
far.
ship
Waiting
made
for your signal.
orbit! Acquisition of signal. Come on, awaiting acquisition of signal.
Please. I didn't see no
Come on.
boom when it went off. Please.
My friend said Starship looks like a giant atomic bomb. He's not wrong.
And I mean,
Especially S-26.
major
Yeah, S-26
And I mean, up to this point,
Come on,
major
acquisition of signal.
successful milestones
Come on,
through
SpaceX.
hot staging, which was the big objective today.
We don't even have any
It has
confirmation.
to still be alive.
Come on.
we
Acquisition
are
of
going to
signal,
head
please.
into the phase.
So we are going to head
I'm
I'm
into the
literally
coast
shaking
phase.
in nervousness, bro.
Planned for the next
Hour and
about
15
hour
minutes.
and 5 minutes. We'll
And
be returning
that's
around the T
while
plus
we're
1
waiting
hour
for
and
Starship
15-minute
to
mark.
continue on to its
And
next step
Freaking
for
while
re-entry.
we're waiting for
We're not
Starship
really
to
sure what
continue
video
on
we're
to
going to
its next
get.
step of re-entry.
That
We're
video
not totally
Elon's
sure what
brother
video we're
is
going to
there,
get.
too.
And
Oh, he's picking
that
up Elon's
video
kid.
comes
That's
normally by
funny.
overflying ground stations, but we don't have a ton
Elon's
along
brother
our
is holding
flight path.
Elon's kid
So
right now.
fingers
That's
crossed
funny.
that we will get some via Starlink on this mission since we're testing that out.
XAE12. Come on, come here, XAE12.
Yeah, they got baby Nort.
And also give
Come
us a
on,
moment. We
come
are
on,
hearing some
acquisition
chatter
is
on the
signal.
net,
We
so
got-
we're going to try to parse
Come on,
that for you.
SpaceX, you got this. Holy sh...
Booster engine.
Shut the fuck up. I can't believe they even lifted off today. There's such a short window. Not even a single engine failed on Ascent, and the ship made orbit.
Is that? Oh wait, is that Elon?
That's Elon in the background.
The booster is so cool.
Come on, acquisition of signal. Please, please, please.
I don't think they're gonna show it.
I'm nervous. They had acquisition of signal way earlier into flight last time.
Kind of thought that's how it would go. Is like a superhero, like him flying out of the explosion.
Dude, it's insane how much
Dude,
money they make.
the onboard shot of the explosion would be so cool. Like the ship looking down at the booster.
Dude. Come
Get
on, SpaceX.
the ship back, please.
Networker back here in Hawthorne at our webcast desk. John Networker
We
back here in
have
Hawthorne at our
the data
webcast
from the
desk.
second stage.
We
We
have
heard a
lost
call out that we
the
were
data from the
internal
second
guidance, which
stage.
means we're
We
getting near
heard a
the end of
call
the
out that we were
approximately
internal
6-minute burn
guidance, which means
of
we were getting
Starship.
near the end of the approximately 6-minute burn
We haven't
of
got
Starship.
any more data since then.
We
So we
haven't
think we missed
gotten any more
the
data
second
since then.
So we
So
would
we
not
think
be
we
in
may
the
have
coast
lost
phase.
the
We wouldn't be
second
able to come
stage.
back in an
No,
hour.
We
we
would
may have
not
lost
be in
the
the
second
coast phase. We
stage.
wouldn't be able to come back in an hour or so.
What we do
and
know
possibly
right
get
now
ready
is
for
we had
return.
an on-time launch.
However, what we do know right now is
we
we
got
had
through
an
the
on-time
boats.
launch at
First
7
stage
o'clock.
I think there's a chance
We
it's
got through
alive.
the boats.
There's still a
First
chance it's
stage was
alive, but they think they
beautiful
lost.
33 Raptor engines
You know, the
firing.
thing that we really
We got
wanted
the
to see.
hot
They're gonna keep
staging.
looking.
You know, the thing
saw
that we
the
really
separation,
wanted
we
to
saw the
see
flip
and
maneuver.
impressed.
We saw the light up
separation,
of
we
the
saw the
6
flip
Raptor
maneuver,
engines on Starship.
we saw the light
Headed
up of
away,
the 6
everything
Raptor
really
engines
looked
on
good.
Starship, and it headed away.
But what we
Everything
do
really
believe right
looked good.
now is that the automated
But what we
flight
do believe
termination
right
system
now
No.
is that the automated flight termination system
late
on
in the
second
burn as
stage
we were headed
appears to have triggered
downrange out
very
over the
late
Gulf of
in the
Mexico.
burn as we were
Looks like the
headed
termination
downrange
system got
out
it.
over the Gulf of Mexico. But
Successful liftoff.
the real
Kate.
topping on the cake
Shiva,
today,
the hot
that
staging
successful
is just,
liftoff, Kate.
just beautiful.
Shiva, the
Exactly
hot
what we were
staging
looking
is
for.
just,
Yeah,
just
ultimately,
beautiful.
what
Exactly what we were
honestly,
looking
such
for.
an incredibly successful day. Even though
honestly,
we did
such
have
an
Make it to
incredibly
space, though.
successful day. Even though we did have a
the
RUD
super
or
heavy
rapid
booster
unscheduled
and
disassembly
the
of
ship,
both,
that's
the
great. We
super
got
heavy
so much data, and that will
booster
all
and
help
the
us to
ship.
improve
That's
for our
great.
next
We got
flight.
so much
Of course,
data,
and
and
that's
that will
why
all
we
help
flight
us to
test, and
improve
you can
for
bet
our
that
next
there's going to
flight.
be
Of
more
course,
to
and
come.
that's
Oh,
why
I
we
need to
flight
see what the
test,
pad
and you
looks
can
like.
bet that there's going to be more to come. So we really do want to thank you all for joining us.
We want to
Of
thank
course,
all
we
the
want to
federal
thank the
agencies
people
that have
of
supported
Camden
us for our
County.
30
We want to
free
thank all
engines
the
there.
federal agencies that have supported us for our test, and of course, a huge
Getting
congratulations
through this flight
to the
test
entire
today.
SpaceX team on
And
getting
I think with
through
that,
this
we're gonna
flight
sign off
test
from here in
today.
Hawthorne.
And
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
think
check
with that,
Starbase
we're gonna
Live
sign
after
off
this.
from here in Hawthorne.
Alright, guys.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and
That's
we'll see
it.
you next time.